Okay, and welcome back to another fabulous episode of the Ennsville Twin Amphitheater. I'm your host, Renee Guerrero.
And we are here with your boy, Sean Manning, as well.
The one and the only, Sean the Shark Manning.
There's no shark. There's only Manning.
That sounded so fucking upset. Alright, we're coming at you live at...
Live
at 2:50 in the fucking morning. We just got done watching Kung Fu Hustle.
The Kung Fu Hustle.
For the second time.
It was probably fifth time. To be completely honest.
Okay, I want to come at you straight, but when I first saw this movie as a fucking kid, there was no way in hell I was going to watch it in a fucking movie theater. I don't know exactly how. I think my friend that lived down the street had bought the movie, and I watched it at his house. But I was watching the trailers for months before actually watching the film, and there's nothing really I could say. It was just fucking mind-boggling as an 11-year-old, 10-year-old kid, just wow, this is actually possible.
You know, that's pretty funny because the way I actually ended up watching it, you ever seen that show, Spike TV, where they would have people running around, there was Asian people being dubbed over, and they were telling them
what is it, extreme? I don't know.
You would see boulders falling, and then the guy would be making fun of him.
Stupid ass extreme show. And it was voiceover.
Well, I tuned in one day to watch an episode, and this movie was on first, so I had to watch the episode.
Oh, really?
I had to watch the movie first before I could watch an episode.
So you saw it on Spike?
Yeah, I saw it on Spike. And I remember watching it on Spike, and I was thinking to myself, wow, this is like every episode of this show, but in a movie.
Well, hold on. You saw it English dub.
Oh yeah, I saw it English dub for sure.
Which is frustrating to watch, by the way.
I personally don't really. I can watch dub or sub.
I mean,
they're totally different movies, no question. But I really use myself when you watch it in sub. There's an emotional weight to the film. And if you watch it in dubbed, it is like a comedy genius. It's a silly fucking great time.
It's fuck. Sean was like, let's just watch it English. I'm like, no, don't fucking turn that don't turn that dumpster fire on, please.
I like their accents. It makes me laugh.
Well, yes, I hate it.
It makes me laugh so hard.
I
think you are a rather good asset. They're so stupid.
Okay.
Oh man.
If you have a chance to watch this movie, please watch it in Cantonese and not the fucking English dub movie.
I say just do whatever it takes. You probably will only find it in English anyway, so
all right, let's get into it. So we come into our fabulous opening with that catchy theme of dun 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 dun, or that fucking whatever music.
Basically,
it's like the X Gang theme. That's what it was. It was the X Gang theme. And
are you sure that's how it opens? I thought it opens with they're in the chief's office, and
but the song.
All song is playing.
The X Game theme song was playing, and you're right. It does open in a police chief's office. It's actually called Super Crime Fighters, and it shows it does this really long take where it starts from this guy who's trembling in fear, and it slowly pans out into all these other people who are just shocked and statuified, and it just keeps on going up, and then we see the sign of the Super Crime Fighters, and then all of a fucking sudden a man flies into that sign and crushes it, and he just falls straight to the bottom.
I thought that was actually really, really funny. But as soon as I looked at him, I was like, wow, this is a really silent scene. And you kind of look to yourself and you see this guy just fly out of nowhere, smashed to the side. I was like, oh fuck, poor guy.
And here we're introduced to what is known as the Crocodile Gang, and apparently they seem pretty fucking ruthless because they are in the...
Yeah, they're actually threatening the chiefs themselves, letting them know that.
They're threatening all the detectives and just saying, oh, you did this to my girlfriend, fuck you. And he's just ain't nobody gonna mess with me. Ain't no one's better than me. Ain't nobody tougher than my gang. I'm the one that runs the streets around here. And they're just...
Yeah, so he says that, and as he says that, they decide, they just start walking out. He's walking with her. That's where Renee, the asset scene comes. It doesn't really matter. It's only the dub side of the sub. But they're walking out, and you see him with the girl, and they start walking away. And as they're going outside, they notice that all the people are like closing their windows and everything. And you're kind of like, what's going on here? I wonder why everybody's closing the windows. And as you notice that behind them, actually in the surrounding area around them, you start to see actual people in suits walking towards them.
Yeah, but before that, the crocodile gang was just they like see everybody shutting up. It's deserted. They're just like, let's go back inside, and they try to go back inside to like the police headquarters. They shut the fucking doors on them. They're like, no, you're not coming back in here. And then
once they decide that, they try to walk back outside, and you see that this basically mob of suit wearing like individuals close up on them, and they start to look around. And they decide they're going to shoot some fireworks up in the air, basically to communicate with the rest of the gang to come join them. And once you hear that, the leader of basically what they're called is the Axe Gang.
Yeah, it's the Axe Gang, and it's led by Brother's Son.
Yeah, Brother's Son. So Brother's Son goes up to him and lets him know basically that basically the rest of the Crocodile Gang will not be joining him because the fact is that they've already joined the Axe Gang.
Yeah.
So, because they have joined the Axe Gang, they're not going to be coming. Crocodile Gang tries to, like, kind of get away, and they try to fight back, but by the time they try to fight back, you see these guys pull out just...
Tommy guns.
Were they Tommy guns?
Yeah, they were
to mow them down.
Classical mobster
Tommy gun. The leader of the Crocodile Gang tries to like run away, but some dude with the magical axe.
He just like straight up fucking wanteds that shit.
he just throws a real deep.
Fucking falls to the ground and like I don't even know hook shots that axe all the way to the Crocodile Gang's leader's knee, when it chops off his fucking knee while he's running. And he just completely falls to the ground and just trembling in fear. And then Brother Son starts doing his little dance. He's carrying an axe. They give him an axe, and he's carrying his little axe, their signature axe, and he's just fucking walking up, dancing to like the theme. I hope I can find the theme and put it in here. But he's walking up to them, and then the leader's just like, whoa, wait. Remember that time I took you out to dinner? He's like, fuck you, and he just starts chopping away at him and chopping and destroying him, and he's just like, oh fuck, and then like he grabs his neck, he's just like, oh shit, and then like his little lackey taps him on the shoulder, he's just like, hey, what about her? And he turns around and it's a sweet old lady, and she's crying and trembling in fear.
Not really an old lady, it's like
sweet lady.
It's like the Asian babe basically that the Crocodile Gang
I
got
guess
out
their
of
girlfriend,
or whatever, that they got out of like a prison or something.
Yeah, and then he's just like, please, Brother Son, spare me. And then he's like, oh, don't be foolish. I did that terrible, but he's like, oh, don't be foolish. I don't kill women. You're free to go. And as she turns around, he like signals to his lackey, where he just like waves up and down, and they throw him a fucking sawed-off shotgun, and boom, blast that bitch into oblivion.
it hit her so fucking hard that she was wearing, I guess, 2 pieces of clothing. The first piece of clothing just gets annihilated and flies away, and then she flies forward as well.
And then at this moment, you can tell that Quentin Tarantino's like, wow, bravo. I really love it.
Bravo.
I don't care how it goes. I love it. So, Brother Son throws the gun at his other lackey, and he like dances away. And then the guys, or that same lackey that he threw the gun at, tells the police enforcement, like, hey, clean up this mess. And then you see like the chief like counting money and putting in tiles, and what we can like concur is that he's going to give him all that money that he's counting, and so it's a pretty large sum of money. And so what it transitions to,
it's basically like a montage of all the Axe Gang members, like past, present, future, what they've become, how they've been built up, what they exactly do. We kind of have an idea while they're playing their little tune what they exactly
they're also dancing
are doing. You find out how ruthless they really are.
Yeah, they're really like something else.
And as you kind of transition from there, we actually go to like this little village, or like a little kind of.
It's called a Pigsty Alley.
Yeah, basically like basically some little homes, townhomes, or like apartment complexes, but not really apartment complexes.
And it's kind of interesting because all these people are really just living their lives, and
they're like living like a really old traditional kind of. Best way to say it, they like kind of like an old village style where they all work together, they all live together, everybody's very close.
Yeah,
they know the guy who's cooking or is a chef in town. They know the local tailor. They know the people who wash your clothes. There's a landlord. There's a landlady. There's basically everything.
Yeah, and the reason why they're able to live like this is, I don't know if you picked up on it, but the Axe Gang only targets like rich income like businesses and people, and they don't want to mess with this like pigsty because they're poor. They have nothing to give. And so that's kind of why they get to like live in this peaceful like scenario where it's all just kind of like where they're all just kind of one big community in this really poverty-stricken tenant houses.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So we see all that. We see all these people living together, and then
this is where we're first introduced to that one kid. Okay, so basically when we were watching this is where we're first introduced to. There's a kid washing himself in the. He's washing himself with just like water and soap, and he's using like a little pipe to clean himself, and he runs out of water, so he gets real pissed, and he basically looks up at the building and tells the landlady, he's like, "Hey, you forget to pay your taxes? Well, I got no water." And she opens the door, she looks at him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm talking to you, landlady." And she just hear go like close the door, run real hard to the bottom of the steps, comes out. And she's like,
"What did Stewie Griffin run?"
Yeah. She goes up to him. She's like, "What did you say to me?" And he's like, "You know what I said to you? I need water. I need to take a shower." He's like, "You haven't paid rent in like months. You want me to give you this?" And he's like, "Yes. You gotta give me water. I'm taking a shower right now." It's like, just because of that, I'm not too sure. She says
waters on Mondays.
Oh, it's Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays,
something like that, and they're water rationing on Wednesdays or whatever. Water rationing on 2 separate days.
2 separate days. Yeah.
So
everybody's real pissed. They're disappointed. The landlord at this point, he's already kind of gone around town
doing his thing.
For some reason, he's been flirting with the girls in town.
He's also the local drunk.
Yeah, he's a local drunk as well.
He owns the complex, but he's also
find
the
out
local
that drunk. She tells him that as that's going on, this kid is pretty peeved off. She goes and she meets like a couple of guys who tell her like, "Hi, how's your day going?" And then she just dominates them completely, saying, "Hey, don't you try to even dare be nice to me. You're late on your rent as well, and you too." Yeah. She's like basically shitting on each of these people that come up.
Yeah.
And as we go back to the kid, he's just kind of standing there, his ass out. I don't know why his ass is out at this point. Maybe he forgot to pull his pants up. I thought, okay, maybe that's just ordinary, whatever. So as you see him, he's decided to just stand there and look into space as she comes up and grabs her hand and slaps the living motherfucking shit out of him. This dude is hit so damn hard that you see the sandals on him that weren't even... I didn't even know he had sandals on. He was taking a shower. Why would there be sandals? I will never know. But basically, they fly off, and they fly off with him as he hits the ground. And she's pretty pissed off. I guess she decides from there just to go back inside, right?
Go back to her little home.
Yeah, as she goes back inside, she goes back to see her landlord, I guess it was her husband.
It's her husband, yeah.
Yeah, we find out the landlord is her husband, and he's basically at the women's kind of, I guess, showers.
Women's shower, restroom.
And he's all, I'm just going over here to check up and see if everybody is...
no, he's looking for peeping Toms.
He's looking for peeping Toms.
He's making sure that there's no peeping Toms.
And it's funny because this lady comes up, and she says, no, he goes... I'm making sure to check if there's any peeping Toms. Did you see if there was anybody? She points straight at him. He's all, "You could never accuse me. You have no evidence. That was never me." And as that happens,
and he turns around, and you can see like a lipstick kiss mark on his cheek that he buffooned some woman into giving him a fucking kiss.
I thought this was so funny because as this happens, he goes and he takes her to basically he takes her. No, she takes him, and they go upstairs, and you see him with a little window, and you just hear him going,
He's getting his shit beat in.
She starts just dropping elbows on him like she's Macho Man Randy Savage. I was like, damn, like, goodness, what is going on here? But yeah, she's just dominating him. And as that's going on, we go back to the kid. We find out that the kid with this, which is for some reason, he's decided to not pull up his pants yet in this film.
His ass hanging out.
His ass is still hanging out. We're not too sure why.
It's a lot of his ass.
Maybe
it's not just a crack. It's
yeah,
like half his ass.
His whole ass is just out, but the front of his pants is up. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
We get introduced to two characters. The first one that we actually is our main character doesn't actually have a name.
What I'm seeing is that it's Singh and Boone.
Okay, Singh and Boone.
But they never call him that.
Yeah.
They never call him anything like that. So I want to call him Singh and Boone.
Or it's like Bone.
Bone. Let's go.
Bone.
Singh and Bone.
Singh and Bone.
I'm sorry if I get this wrong, but this is what we're gonna call them because they don't have no fucking names.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either.
So I'm sorry. So Singh comes up to these local kids. Singh and Boone come up to these local kids playing soccer, and he's just like, and they accidentally kick the ball to him. First mistake. They kick the ball to them, and Singh.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
Singh. What Singh does is he starts juggling the ball. He starts juggling the soccer ball, and he's very talented at juggling the soccer ball. And he holds it, and the kid's like, "Sir, can you teach us?" And he's like, "No more soccer for today," and just fucking smashes that goddamn soccer ball. And he just like,
he kicks it,
and then he leaves.
He just leaves. He's all, "You like soccer? Well, this is what I think about your soccer." Smashes it, deflates it,
and then he just leaves, and these kids just start crying and whatever not. So Singh and Boone go into the fucking pigsty market square where all this happened.
Basically, Bone wants to go there to get a haircut, and he decides, you know what, I got to get a haircut. So as he's getting his haircut, it looks really nice, and Singh looks at him and tells him, "Hey, he looks too nice. Like, what's up with that?" And he tries to tell him,
Are you trying to insult him?
You're trying to insult him? You do know who this is. And as he emphasizes that, Bone takes off his shirt, and we recognize by the greatness of his chest as he jiggles, as his breasts start to jiggle, and you look at him, and you see big axe handles on his chest, that apparently he is the Axe King. He's
he's the boss of the Axe Gang.
He's basically the boss of the Axe Gang. And we're like, whoa, kind of weird way to introduce him. I guess that's supposed to be tough, but that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So you see him, and the kid, he basically tells that kid who has his ass out for no reason, he tells him, "Hey, you don't want him to mess with him, man. I'm trying to really help you out. He's real mean. He'll do something to you guys. I'm just really trying to protect you." And I don't know what the kid says to him specifically.
He's like, "Oh, now you're trying to blackmail me.
You're trying to blackmail me."
And he's like, "If you want to call it that," he's all like, "But honestly, if you kill me, you're going to have to deal with 1,000 more of me." And as he's saying that, a crowd of the villagers are walking up to him. And then Singh is just like, "Oh, okay." So he fucking pushes the fuck out of that kid.
Yeah, it's dominant. This kid is not very tough. I guess he just thinks he's tough.
Yeah, and then he's just... and then Singh's like, "Oh, one-on-one matches? Alright, let's play fair. Let's do this fairly. Okay, you, old lady, come here."
He's like, "You, farmer lady. Come here now." He's like, "What do you do? You know what, lady? I'm going to be real nice to you. You get the first free shot at me, okay? Just let me know when you're ready." And she just goes complete punch. This punch doesn't look that strong. As the impact of the punch hits his chest, you see blood just splatter into his mouth,
all over her face.
he's like, and he looks at her
like, "What do you do?"
He's like, "What do you do for a living?"
He's all like, "I'm a farmer."
Oh no, I think he tells her, he's like, "Do you lift?"
No, he says, "Oh, well, what is it that you do here?" She's like, "I'm a farmer." He's like, "No women. What are you?" He's like, "I don't fight women." So he's like, shoot, go away." And then he just starts picking at the crowd. He's just like, "You. Yeah, you. Hey, shorty, come here." And this guy gets up, and he's fucking 8 feet tall.
He's like 8 feet tall, looks at him. This guy's ready to dominate.
"What did I say about cheating? Go sit back down."
And he looks and picks out some guy. There's this guy that's an old guy with glasses just looking at him kind of confused. And he's like, hey, you old man, come out here. And as the old man comes out, both flexed out, body ripped. He's like, oh shit. So he looks at the next. He's like, I wasn't talking to you, man. I was talking to the little kid over there. Yeah, you little kid. Look at me. Why don't you come step up? And as this kid steps up, you see the Brock Lesnar like veins in his chest as he flexes. What a beast of a kid.
He does all of that. And then he's just like, oh, no, go back. He's like, what? Oh, not a worthy opponent to challenge me? Oh, I thought so. And then as he turns around, that fucking kid who has his ass always hanging out, and then he comes and he brings the landlady, and he's just like, that guy trying to blackmail me. Yeah. And then he's all like, what do you want, fat woman? And she takes off her chocolate. She's like, fat woman, my ass, and beats the fuck out of him.
And he's like, what are you doing?
And he's all like, what are you doing my ass? And hits him. And then he's like, boss my ass, hits him. And he's like, I'll sue you, sue my ass, and fucking starts hitting him.
So basically,
and she starts beating the fuck.
She's beating the hell out of him to the point where he tells her, hey, you know what? You'll see. I'll bring the whole gang back here. They'll mess you up. You see, and he grabs like a firecracker, lights it up. Yeah, and he just throws it back, and he's all, see, they'll come. I promise you they'll come. And as the firecracker goes off, he kind of scares himself. And he starts to walk off away.
He's like, you'll be sorry.
You'll definitely be sorry. And as you see him walk off away, you find out that firecracker did hit somebody. And who did it hit, Renee?
It hit an Axe Gang member. I don't know exactly what rank this guy was at, but he seemed pretty high up. And
apparently he's the vice.
And he looked fucking pissed off. There was a giant hole missing out of his hat that was burnt. It looked like a firecracker hit it. And he comes up, and he's like, breathing real hard, wiping the sweat off his face, and he's just like, who threw that? And then Singh looks at him, he's just like, I'm on your side.
It was her.
And then he points at it, he's like, it was her. So they all start walking over, and then the landlady's real smart. She knows what's going on. And she's just like, what are y'all doing standing there? And then that guy is just like, hey, fat lady. And she just looks to her left, looks to her right, and just fucking books it.
She's super quick. Like she's Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny. She's out of the door super quick. It was
legit Looney Tunes.
I was like, oh shit, she's gone. That was
she
quick.
did it fast, and she went and hid under her covers.
So because of that, he goes up to... He goes up to that damn ass out kid that's been ass out. I'm so tired of seeing this kid. I didn't realize his ass is still out. I'm not too sure why. I looked at Renee at this point. I was going to ask him, but I thought it was just regular in the movie now.
And so what happens is this vice president, right?
He's like vice. He's basically the vice in charge.
He's a high-ranking Axe Gang member, and he's just like, who threw that firecracker? And he looks at the kid, and the kid's just like, I'm not scared of you. The kid literally says, I'm not scared of you. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he pulls out his little like axe, and he puts his ear to like closer to him, and he's like, huh? And then and the kid's like trembling in fear. He's just like, I'm not. And like he
pulls back.
He pulls back, ready to slice the fuck out of this kid, and then boom, nothing. And this kid is still trembling in fear, and we see nothing but the Axe Gang. And then farther on the back,
you realize this guy's been basically completely thrown into a bucket.
This like high-ranking Axe Gang guy has been thrown into a bucket, and nobody even saw a thing.
Yeah, nobody noticed anything. He asked, he's like, "Do you know who threw me in here?" And they're all saying.
They didn't say anything. They just shook their heads.
No, we did it.
And and they try to pick him. He's like, oh, don't do it.
Don't do it. My back is broken.
My back's broken. He's like, go for backup.
So we get basically, you see fireworks go up into the sky as we've transitioned into like this is basically the big moment in the movie where the movie is going to change. We now know the direction where the movie's going to go. As the fireworks go up into the air, we get the music playing of the Axe Gang. We're introduced back to the leader, Brother Sung. And as Brother Sung starts walking out, you see that the whole Axe Gang is now joined this village, basically. Yeah. And they have decided to punish the kid and to punish all the village for for what they've done.
But
This happens to the tailor. This happens to Donut, who's basically the food guy. And this happens to the guy that was in the beginning of the movie, which I didn't emphasize this. I thought that was really cool. I forgot to tell Renee about this. Do you remember in the beginning of the movie where there's a guy that's introduced, and the first thing he's doing, he's picking up like sacks of potatoes, and he kicks flip that sack.
Yeah,
and puts it on top.
He flips a sack.
He flips a sack. I don't know, not like that kind of sack. Don't be crazy. Come on, chill out. But we mean like a potato sack. Yeah. So this guy has also been tackled down, and all these, basically all the villagers are all being tackled down to the floor. Brother Sung walks up to the vice. He looks at him.
He's fucking foam is coming out of his mouth. This guy is dying in front of Brother Sun's eyes.
I thought this was the funniest part because he's looking at him. He's like,
just completely dying. Brother Sun just looks at him and laughs and walks away.
I don't know
why. That's your friend.
I don't know why he's died like that.
He's dying fucking miserably.
I really don't know why he's dying in that way. I don't know why they made him die in that kind of way. I'm so confused.
So what happens is that Brother Sun is just like, all right, who did this? And the thing that's fucked up is that kid who fucking did it didn't say anything. You would think like he's that strong, he can take on at least some of them. He doesn't step up. He's just like, okay, I'm gonna make you see who did it. So one of the Axe Gang members drags a woman and her poor family and puts it in the middle of like their town square, and he gets like a can of gasoline and starts dousing them in gasoline, starts pouring it all over them. These people are crying, and he says, okay, I want to give you the count of 3. Brother Sim says, I want to give you the count of 3. He says 1, and he lights a lighter. He says 2 with his fucking disgusting teeth showing, and then before he can get to 3, he throws the lighter at him, and as the lighter is about to land on this drenched family, Cooley grabs that lighter and he says, I did. And
this is basically the potato sack guy.
Oh my fucking god. This guy, Cooley, what the fuck? Cooley got some moves. Cooley can fuck up some motherfuckers. He straight up jumps, kicks some fucking guy in the chest, jumps up, kicks another guy in the head. They're flying back. They don't know what to do. Over repeatedly, destroying these guys with his kicks. And if you notice, he's only using kicks. He's fucking doing backflips and kicking people, everything.
But after a certain point, you can kind of tell that the rest of the Axe Gang, there's just too many of them. There's about like 100, maybe 200 people.
There's nothing there's only so much that Cooley can do. And Cooley's just like starting to grab them and throw them at each other.
They're all starting to basically overtake him. You can see that. Yeah. And it looks like Cooley's going to fail in this battle.
Yeah.
And the tailor who had been being threatened, and this tailor looks really weak, is being threatened. One of the Axe Gang members grabs his axe and attacks him. And you see the Axe Gang member fly through the window, breaking through the glass.
Yeah.
And at this point, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And you recognize Taylor grabs the hooks, basically, of hangers.
Yeah.
And he puts them into his arms and uses them as, like, power bracelets, like he's a Power Ranger.
Yeah, it's almost like he's Wonder Woman.
You just hear him. He goes out there dominating. Just the Axe Gang members are getting dominated now just by his Power Rings power attacks. Don't know how to explain it.
Just like
he's what is his name? Inframan.
He's
Inframan himself, dominating power attacks.
Lunging his fucking lunging and dodging like Axe Gang at like axes, and fucking just
kung fu,
throwing his fists all throughout these people. And
it's not even really his fists. He's just throwing straight up forearm attacks.
Just forearm attacks and destroying.
I never thought you could do that much with the forearm, but he taught me today. You really can.
So it comes into Cooley. I'm sorry, not Coolio. Fucking Cooley and the tailor 1-on-1, and they figure out that they're kung fu masters, kind of.
Yeah, they're basically
they didn't know about each other, and so they start fighting. They start kind of getting overtaken, and then another person that we didn't know that had it in him, Donut, comes into the fight.
Yeah, Donut gets put into the fight.
He decides that he needs to
I think the reason why he joins the fight is because he sees that the Axe Gang pull out Tommy guns.
Oh, that's right.
And they were going to shoot them.
Yeah.
And as he sees that, he throws his staff.
That's right.
Like a wooden staff. And it goes in between the two guns, and it knocks him into the wall. And he starts knocking all the guns out of the Axe Gang members to make sure they only use axes.
And just like, to be frank, this is like a spaghetti noodle of a weapon. And I don't know if you've ever been hit with like a stick, but it fucking stings. It just like stings. And
I hear that it stings because of the fact that I'm not too sure if I don't kill me if I'm wrong, but I actually hear it's because wood has. There's two things. Wood has. It's not necessarily like. It's not necessarily closed out, so there's like pores and stuff in it. So winds of air keep it underneath the wood. So once they've released onto the skin, the wind is like a slicer to your skin.
Oh, that makes it even worse.
And then if you also think about it too, wood is not completely. It has splinters and stuff. So once you're hit, it's like just getting scratched. So as he's dominating each of them,
that just makes that scene worse.
What's really cool too is how he gets the staffs. He basically grabs all 6 staffs at once, throws them in the air, and he levitates toward them like the staffs are drawing him into his strength.
And then he starts fucking everybody up. And then this group together starts destroying the Axe Gang,
dominating them completely.
In a dust full of kung fu.
Greatness.
Kung fu greatness. They just destroyed that whole entire Axe Gang. And then the dust clears, and we see that they all notice that they're all kung fu masters. Now,
once they've decided that they're all kung fu masters, they're pretty happy.
So what happens after this? After the fight,
I think that we go to the Axe Gang, and the Axe Gang is very
Brother
mad
Son.
Because they don't understand why.
Brother Son's pissed off. He's just taking his anger out on like the local T-boy. And it's just like killing. He kills him.
I think he throws a tea in his face.
Yeah, no, he just kills him. He kills him, takes him away. And as he's taking him away up the ladder, we see that Singh and Boone are fucking shackled onto the bottom of the ladder. And he's just like, tell me how these village people have destroyed all of our fucking Axe Game and publicly disgraced our fucking our gang. And he's just like, and tell me how these 2 posers have got away with this. And he's just like, as he was about to like hit him with the axe, he was his like little lackey.
He decides to tell his lackey to use the gun.
No. The lackey tells him, he's like, no, Brother Son, don't waste your energy on it. We'll take care of it. And then he's just like, he's like, okay, sounds fair. And as that's happening, 2 Axe Games throw
the axe.
The 2 axes.
No, I think they throw the first axe, and the first axe.
They throw 1 axe,
and then you find out Singh can escape from locks.
He's a great locksmith.
So he gets out of the lock really quickly, and he's a lock picker basically.
Yeah.
And they notice that, and they say, "Oh, you can escape locks." So they grab 2 guys to grab axes, and they say, "Okay, let's see if you can survive this." So they bring him back up, and they decide to throw the axes at Bone and him. So he tries to go up there to unlock Bone, and as they throw both axes, both of them escape. They drop to the floor, and one of the lackeys tells Brother Son, "Hey, we should use these guys. They'll be really useful." So he goes up to them and tells them, "You're one of the Axe Gang members. All you need to do is just basically basically just find someone, kill someone, and you can be one of us. Find someone to kill, and you'll be one of us." So we basically transition to these 2 guys going and just like driving around, deciding how they're going to be gang members. They just need to find someone to kill.
Well, they're like on street curves, and they're watching like the local Axe Gang go into like casinos and have women, and they're like kind of envious of them. And they're just like, "Well, have you ever?" And then Boone's like, they're all conversating about like all the shit that they'll do, all the shit that they'll get, and all the riches that they can get if they begin in the Axe Gang. And then Boone's
As we were introduced to some 4-eyed dude that just comes out of nowhere.
Keeps on coming back.
And he comes up to us like, "Hey, 4 Eyes, better get out of my way, man, or I'll mess you up." He's all, shut up, you loser.
And he's like, come back here. And he goes on a train. He's like, come back here and say that to my face. And he's like, would you actually do anything? He's like, yeah, I'll do it. And
I'll kill him. I'm a killer.
He's like, don't you know I know Kung Fu? He's like, you don't know Kung Fu. He's like...
So this is where we're explained how he learned Kung Fu. So it's very strange. It's
really fucking strange.
It's very strange. Basically, a homeless man sees him out of nowhere. Basically shows him the Kung Fu manual, or not the Kung Fu, the I believe it's the Buddha palm.
It's Buddhist palm.
Buddhist palm. So he tells him the Buddhist palm, and it's a manual. And he says all you got to give him is $10, and he'd give him the Buddhist palm. So he ends up giving him the $10, and in return,
which was his life savings.
So life savings. Whatever.
It was his life savings. And he was going to go to college to become a doctor or a lawyer. Wow.
I don't know. Anyway, so he ends up grabbing this palm manual and starts training, and he recognizes he's actually pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And decides one day to use it for the right thing.
Yeah, he's going to bring peace upon the world.
He sees this girl being basically dominated by 8 guys. 8 teenage boys dominating her. Yeah, it was 8 of them. I counted them out. It was really easy to count once,
Fuck, man.
So these 8 boys, you see them. They're all dominating her, beating her up, grabbing her hair, pulling her hair back. They're just trying to take away her lollipop. Is that what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's just a lollipop. And you hear Singh tell them, hey, get away from her. And they all literally look at him. And they're like, what the fuck? So they go up to him, and one of the bigger ones looks him straight to face to face, one-on-one. And Singh just throws out his strongest palm strike to his chest. Does absolutely nothing. They all look at him, very confused, start laughing, dominate the fuck out of him, beat the living hell out of him. Poor guy. He was just trying to protect her. So he's getting completely beat up horrifically. And you see him all bruised up. They look at him. They actually pick up his palm, the Buddhist palm manual.
Yeah.
And they say, wow, this is the Buddhist palm manual, man. What a joke.
He's all like 20 cents. 20 cent Kung Fu manual.
Wow. So they throw it to the ground, start laughing at him. So at this point, I thought to myself, wow, they beat the fuck out of him. They embarrassed him. This is the worst you could possibly be.
Yeah.
Looked at Renee, I was like, man, there's nothing worse. There can't be anything worse they can do. Well, for some reason, Kung Fu also said, hey, let's just shit on him. Physically shit on him. Not like completely shit on him.
They pull out their pants and bend over.
They literally just start pissing on him.
Yeah,
pissing on him.
8 boys start peeing on this other
one guy,
this
man, and they're showing you him getting pissed on. Not the kids, but you just see pissed. It's so fucking sad.
And they pissed on his manual too.
Yeah, pissed on his manual, pissed on him,
and he's
completely embarrassed, horrific, just terribly embarrassed.
And after they're done, he just he's an idiot. She's a mute. You're both losers. Fuck y'all.
Oh yeah, he says she's a mute, and he's a loser. Losers. They're just so fucked up. What
messed up.
Such a horrible, such mean.
What do you have to go through to do that to another person?
I don't know. There's 8 of them.
Anyways,
he never had a chance. Let's be honest.
So that's where Singh learned that good guys never win, and that's where he decided to be a criminal.
So as this is going on, he sees the ice cream girl, and he goes up to her. He says, "Hey, can I have 2 ice creams?" If she gives him an ice cream,
and it's kind of funny because this ice cream girl is
just staring at him, real weird.
Stares at him like, oh my god.
And
it's and she's legit in shock, and we're just like, what's going on?
Yeah, he looks at her and he tells her. At this point, I'm like, whoa, what is this? What is he gonna say? Yeah. So he looks at her and tells her, have you never met an ice cream thief? He books it so fucking quick. He
books it, and she chases him, which is really sad.
She chases him
and they jump onto the train, and he just
as ice cream is drooling down his chin,
and he's just
disgustingly,
manically at this maniacally fucking mastermind of this ice cream thief operation where he steals ice cream from this
real killer
fucking
now.
woman.
We've realized at this point he's a real killer.
He killed our hopes and dreams of owning a successful ice cream stand.
So from here on, we are going back to the village. We find out
the
landlady is talking to the 3 individuals who are basically samurai, or not samurai, kung fu masters.
Yeah.
And she tells them that they cannot no longer live in the village anymore, that they're all very dangerous and they will bring trouble to the village. So they all need to leave. The villagers decide against that they should be able to live here. They protected us. They get very angry at the landlady because she says that they put us in much more danger than they expect. They blame her. They say, where was she at? She just ran away. So a lot of them are kind of, you know, they have a point. She did run away immediately. So she gets really angry, gets real pissy, so she ends up just yelling. And I thought it was really strange. Her yell is so powerful that they all cover their ears and glass breaks.
Yeah.
So this lady's got a hell of a yell. I was like,
she
damn.
Got some lungs on her.
She got some lungs on her.
She's also a smoker, so.
Smoker, but a great lungs. So you find out that she basically is really pissed off. At this point,
she just starts bitching.
At this point, Singh and Bone have returned.
Yeah,
and I guess they decided that they want to kill her.
They want to kill her so they can join the X gang.
They join the X gang. So Singh decides, you know what? I have these throwing knives. I'll just throw them at her, and I'll throw it first, and then you can throw it second, and then we can get the hell out of here. So he grabs the knife and he throws it, bounces off the wall into his shoulder. First knife in. He's like, oh, fuck. Takes a step back. He's looking at it, the knife, like, damn, I really fucked that up.
Bone's like, what happened? He's like, why don't you give it a try? And he's like, okay.
So Bone goes over there. At this point, I wasn't too sure if, in the first place, if Bone was that, I guess, accurate. But at that point, I was very wrong. Bone is definitely accurate. Because he throws it straight at Singh himself. Straight into the other shoulder. Perfectly aligned. He's singing, you can tell at this point, dominated.
And he's just like...
Just step a little bit closer.
Why don't you go a little bit closer over there?
So Singh, Bone grabs the next knife. As he swings his full strength, man, this is going to be a hell of a throw. He pulls his whole arm back. So much strength in this. He accidentally just
stabs Singh
in his arm, and he looks at it. Sings like, "Damn, this is really."
And so, like, the handle comes off the knife
because of Bone's pure power. The handle just gets pulled, throws it straight at the landlady, hits her,
sticks to
right
her,
at the forehead,
sticks to her face, and
she says, "Who threw that?"
And then he turns around. He turns around and he's just like, "Oh." Where'd the knife go? Where'd the knife go? And he's like, oh, it was right here. So he pulls it out of Singh's. He pulls it out.
He's like, oh, don't do that. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. So he puts it back inside of his. What a piece of shit. I would have been so pissed. I'm like, get the fuck away from me, man.
And then the landlady looks at him and he's just like, you. And what Boone does is what any man can do. He picks up the box full of snakes, or the cage full of snakes, and he's gonna throw it at her. But as he's throwing at her, the box
is open.
The cage full of snakes opens up. He lunges the bags as he cocks bags. All the snakes fall out onto who else but Singh. And then, to make matters worse, is that he throws the box down. And the landlady's starting to look at all the commotion, and he's just like, "Don't worry. I learned if you whistle to the snakes they'll go away." And he's just like, Singh knows. He's like, you gotta be kidding me. That's the dumbest fucking thing he's ever heard in his life. But he's like, fuck it. In moments of travesty, you just gotta go with the flow.
Genius move. He was right all along. Bone had this idea. He was a snake master. That's what we didn't know. We didn't know Singh, Bone, at this whole point in this movie, he was the true snake master. So what exactly happens?
So Singh, Singh
serenades his beautiful soul because he's a singer, and we should have known this would work.
It was literally
beautiful, and as soon as he tries to do that slight whistle, the snakes bite onto his lips so fucking hard.
It was two snakes bit into both sides of his cheeks and onto straight up his lips, and he can't take it anymore. He gets up, he throws the fucking snakes down. The landlady looks at him. He's like, "You."
At this point, Singh and Bone, he's like, "Let's get out of here." They start running. So hey, let's split up.
They split up. The landlady obviously goes after Singh because he was fucking with her. And then he goes out.
We go to like this transitioning into a scene, really weird.
This
running
really
away
weird Looney Tunes-esque type of thing, which I really liked. I really fucking liked it.
I liked it a lot too.
Because it's so fucking stupid.
I've never seen anything like it.
I will probably
I've never seen it.
You will never ever see anything like it.
Like that, yeah, I'm probably not.
It's like they do this and like it's so funny.
You ever? Best way to put it. Have you ever seen Woody Woodpecker or the Roadrunner in Looney Tunes?
Roadrunner.
This is basically the Roadrunner and the Coyote.
Wile Coyote.
Yeah, basically this is them running around,
so
away from each other.
Fucking, this is it happening.
Beep beep.
And Singh's really smart because he uses the knife as rearview mirrors, and he's looking at her like gaining.
They're like passing trucks, cars, trucks, signs, doing flips.
And what ends this chase is that a truck was coming, and Singh goes under the truck, and the landlady decides to go over the truck, and as she goes over, she kind of
didn't realize there's a sign there, so she slams right into the sign.
And a full-on cartoon slam, and she slowly veers off the fucking sign, and Singh's able to get away. And what happens here is we directly transition into a scene in a I don't even know what it was. It was like
I have no clue. This is still I think the most bizarre moment in the film.
A tower where he's absolutely pissed off. His lips are completely swollen where they look with venom, and they're just like hanging off his face, and he's pissed off, and he's banging that like tower, and he just like feels it, and he gets more angry, and he starts banging it, and it ends up that he starts just punching the walls of that tower, and he just punches and punches and punches, and it turns out that he just gets so angry that he destroys the street lights on it, accidentally causes a car wreck, and we find out that after he's done with all this, he just leaves. He just leaves that tower.
So Bone says, "Hey, where have you been, man?" Yeah. And you find out Singh's just fine.
Yeah, he's perfectly fine.
Where did you go? You healed really quick. He's like, "Yeah." He's all, "How did you heal so quick? Did you go to a hospital?" He's like, "No."
He's like, "I don't remember.
I don't really remember." So Bone's like, "Okay, whatever."
And then so they go about their business, and they see these two harpoonists, which is
they have a meeting with those two harpoonists, and they explain
and they're just like, "Oh, you guys are the number one killers." It's like, no. We're not the number one killer.
The number one killer, this is where we first heard of the Beast.
We hear it is the Beast, and he says that the Beast is no joke, that he got bored of killing everybody, so he let himself get locked up in an asylum.
Yeah, he got locked up in an asylum because he just got so bored.
He got so bored of being number one, and he couldn't find a worthy opponent. Sounds like One Punch Man. Y'all fucking don't know what One Punch Man is, probably. I'm sorry.
He's really tough. So supposedly he's really tough. We don't know who he is. So as these two decide, you know what, that's
so
they say they'll do it.
They'll kill these kung fu masters or kung fu people in Pigsty. And as we decide this, I think in some shape or fashion
well, we go from there. We go back to like the village, and they've decided that they let Destiny decide what's going to happen to these guys, and Destiny decides that they have to leave.
Yeah, they have to leave.
So they all start closing down their shops. The tailor starts deciding to leave. Donut starts deciding to leave. And Coolio's like, okay, I gotta leave too. Coolie. My fault. Coolio. No, Coolie. So Coolie decides they're all gonna leave as well. They look at each other and say, "Man, we wish we could have sparred." Yeah. As that point happens, they look at each other.
He's like, "Oh no, we can't. I still got a pack."
And that means nothing because they just start going all at it with each other. Awesome fight sequence, by the way.
And to be honest, they're all equal.
Yeah, they're all pretty equal.
They're all equal.
At that point, you recognize they're all equally really tough.
And it's just kind of like their preference, actually. And they find out about their different styles, like 12... I don't even know. I'm not going to try to say it. But they find out their styles that they use most. And
yeah, and as this is happening...
something really sad happens.
Yeah, we go to... Cooley starts walking away, and we see a harpoonist just playing his simple instrument. Yeah. And Cooley starts to walk in the back alley as he's finally leaving. And we start noticing in the background that their things are falling. Yeah. And we see this cat jump, and this cat's sliced in half. At this point, we recognize something's wrong. Yeah. And by the time Cooley turns around, he looks, and he recognizes there's just a harpoonist behind him. And the partner you hear the harpoonist play a song, and Cooley's head's been chopped off.
And that was the end of Cooley.
That was the end of Cooley. Cooley was cool.
So
apparently this was one of Renee's favorite characters, right?
Well, as a kid, yeah, but yeah, it was. I was as a kid, it was my favorite characters, but now it's a little bit.
So we go
different.
from here. We go to the tailor, who's
packing up his shop.
Packing up his shop, and he says they're closed. And one of the harpoonists that were there go up to him, and they start talking about different clothing and seeing how they like it. And he's like, let me check out this type of material. As he puts it in his hands, there's like claws that come out.
Yeah.
And he just scratches the front of the tailor's chest. And he starts to they start fighting in like this kung fu style.
Yeah.
And the tailor goes quickly to his like hangers to put on these metal rings around his arms so they can fight face to face. And these guys are pretty equally matched, if you notice at the beginning of this battle. So as they're equally matched, they fight, try to fight each other out. The tailor ends up pushing the harpoonist. Pushes the harpoonist through the window, and as he pushes through the window, we find out there's two of them, which was introduced earlier. And as he's fighting with his rings, the harpoonist that he was fighting walks away and goes to the other harpoonist, and he starts playing just like a tune, and you see blades coming. And there's like basically these sound waves of blades start coming out, which is really cool. I thought, that there were basically sound waves with swords on them.
Yeah,
and with these swords flying through,
and
they break the braces that the tailor had himself. And he can't really fight him. He tries to dodge him, but there's nothing he can really do.
He's not matched.
So as he looks at him, you can see it in his eye. He recognizes this is it. There's no chance.
Yeah.
And it comes to him, and then
Donut comes out of nowhere and pretty much saves him. He has his staffs, which have blades at I don't know what these weapons are called, but they're staffs with blades at the end of them. Spears, there you go. I'm fucking stupid. So he has these spears, and he's just dodging all the blades. Donut's pretty matched in this because it's blades, and I guess his specialty is strong weapons. Or
he's really good with spears.
Looks
like maybe made like small swords, I guess.
I don't know about swords or
because maybe he uses like a.
But he does actually stand a chance against these guys. You know. He
has enough weapons to at least get them away from him.
So as he's fighting them, though, all these spears are breaking and they're getting cut in half, and he's only doing so much. And he's trying to get in on them. But they're just firing back with their notes. And
now both of them are playing at the same time.
Yeah, they're playing at the same time. This beautiful melody, but it's also deadly, and they are completely trying to destroy Donut, and Donut's persevering. He's trying to get it. He's trying his hardest, and as his last attempt, he throws the five of his staff in the air, and he holds one, and he straight up just lunges for them.
Basically, the five staffs are in front, trying to block off all the attacks, while the one he has in his hand is to get to them.
Yeah.
And as he gets close enough, right when he gets there, they play a melody which blocks his attack.
They play like a note that's really high and harsh.
And it breaks his staff in half, and then they play a note where it's like a punch.
Yeah.
Punches him in the chest. He flies away. At this point, he's bleeding inside of his mouth. His organs are probably ruptured. It looks like this is done for Donut. And they play the melody with the swords again. The swords start flying. And at this point, Taylor looks at him, and as a true hero, he pushes him out of the way, takes all the swords in, completely sliced to death.
Yeah.
He's still alive, but he doesn't have much left. Looks at the harpoonist. He's done. And Donut looks at them back. They're both defenseless. The blades start coming at him. And as this happens, we hear a screech from the landlady, just completely breaking their musical instruments, their harpoon. It's not a harpoon. Harpoon's like a weapon.
I don't know what the instrument's called.
It's a harp.
Yeah.
It's like a harp. Basically breaking their harp. They look up and stopping their melody whatsoever from playing.
And they're like, what? Another Kung Fu master? And as they're about to jump up to her apartment or whatever,
the landlord
brings them
back down
and is in between them with both hands on their shoulders. And
really
like,
cool.
And they're like,
seeing this at this point.
They're like, what the fuck? And they try to hit him. And as they hit him, something really interesting happened. As they hit him, they hit his chest, and he ends up shifting his whole entire body, and his punch slips and hits his brother.
What's really interesting is if you were to hit him, he would use the momentum you put into him, and he would use the momentum put back into your fist, and he would basically work it back into going into another direction.
Yeah, and he
really interesting because they were basically fucking each other up,
and he didn't lay a single finger on them. So he does this, and
they try fighting him, and they recognize there are no match hand-to-hand combat. This guy cannot be hurt. He's too quick.
He's too quick. He's too slick, and he starts fucking them up. So what pretty much happens is that the landlady was able to save Donut and the tailor.
It looks like she's just protecting them,
and she didn't just protect them. She just
very nice of her.
Put her into her apartment, and then it straight up goes where the landlord throws these two, and these two have had it. They get their string, they get their notes, or they get their harp, and they put it up, and they're gonna do one final attack.
Do they put their strings back on their harp?
They put their strings, they hold the strings, and then one final attack, and it comes out as like an army of skeletons.
Yeah, skeletons. And really interesting.
And they are coming full force towards the landlord, and the landlady steps out of nowhere. She sucks in real hard and lets out this disgusting, despicable screech of a fucking sound that can come from the human vocals.
This is so strong that completely destroys the skeleton creatures that were in the notes. Destroys them. Destroys the two harpoonists. Or harpists. I don't know what they're called. Sorry if we're butchering that.
Destroys them too.
Completely, they're basically two musicians. Completely captivated. They're annihilated.
Their clothes come
off. They fly. They hit the walls. They're beaten to the point that when those two walk up to them, when the landlord and the landlady walk up to them, they literally tell them, "I've never heard the lions roar. I thought it was just a myth. It was just a myth. Why would you even call me? This is just a myth." And they panic and they run away. They're never the same.
Yeah, the landlord's just like, that's the last we'll see of them.
So we go back to inside the vehicle where, this
is really funny, actually.
What's his name?
Brother Sun.
He's been watching this fight the whole time, and he's decided, that we need to get out of here. So he tries to tell his driver that we need to get out of here. And by the time that happens, the landlord's already inside the car.
Yeah.
And as they look to their left, him and his lackey are in between the two of them. The landlady is sitting between them. And I thought Renee was actually, this is really interesting. What's going on in this scene?
What the landlady is doing actually is threatening Brother Sun, but she's threatening him directly like Bruce Lee.
Oh, okay.
So like all the moves that she's doing, like the fingers popping and her stance and the way she snarks at him, and she the way she like rubs her nose, flicks her nose with her thumb. All that is Bruce Lee. Stephen Chow wanted that as Bruce Lee, and she even told him that's Bruce Lee. And then she looks at him like, "You got it. You come back here. You're gonna get fucked up." And then Brother Sun's like, "Okay, I got it." So okay.
So they start driving away.
And
the lackey is such a punk.
He was so fucking
He's so afraid that he starts to light his match, and his match just ends up getting in Brother Sun's hair, and his face gets on fire. It's so stupid. So that happens.
And then it transitions into...
We go back to Singh and Bone, and they...
No. Before that, it happens where the landlord and landlady are tending to all Donut, the tailor, and decapitated Cooley.
They're saying they're sorry that and the village is really confused why they didn't fight earlier. Yeah. And we find out that the reason why they never fought was because their son died in battle.
Yeah.
And they blamed themselves for it.
And they swore to never
fight again.
Never do Kung Fu again.
So that's the reason why. And as that happens, Donut and the tailor actually pass away, unfortunately. One of the coolest two characters in the movie.
And the landlords tell the people that they should just leave.
They should just leave.
They need to evacuate Pigsty. And so now we transition into the following day.
We go to we go to the following day, and we see Singh and Bone are in the bus, and that Four Eyes guy, Singh is finally going to face him one-on-one. And this guy just dominates him, starts smashing his head onto the bus, and Bowen is also getting his head just... They're both getting knocked into the seats.
By this,
they never had a chance, and I don't know why they even tried. So they get thrown out of the bus, and he tells them, hey, don't you ever want to face me one-on-one, you understand? And the guy's like, you're nobody, man. Like, this means nothing. You're just a bunch of losers. Get a life. And I think at this point, Singh is really frustrated that his life is put in this situation. Bone realizes that Singh doesn't really have any sort of kung fu abilities, and it's all that he doesn't believe it's true.
Yeah.
So Singh's really frustrated, decides he wants to take out his frustrations on somebody, so he finds the ice cream girl, and he goes up to her, and he tells her, I need money, like right now, give me money.
And he's like, this is a stick-up.
This is a stick-up. So he pushes her to the ground, and as he pushes her to the ground, he says, where's the money? And he goes up to her, and he puts his knife to her, and he threatens her one last time. And he notices that you see on her face that she's starting to tear up. And he looks at her. You can feel there's this empathy, that this sincerity that this isn't right. But he's got nothing. And he doesn't really know what's going on. But by this time, he can't really dive that deep into those emotions.
So Bone actually opens the fucking the stand. And he gets the money out, and they get all the money, and they get like 2 sodas, and then they throw the money box on the ground, and the girl picks up the box, and she starts like signing to him, like, hey, all those years ago, pretty much telling him all those years ago, you were the one that helped me, you were the one that saved me when no one else could, you were the one that stuck up for me, and then out of nowhere, she pulls out the same lollipop that the girl had tried to give him when they were kids a long time ago.
So then he realizes that was her. Go back to the flashback when he was in the ground. She got up and she went to go give him the lollipop.
Yeah, so that scene that we said that those boys had pissed on him, that was the girl he was fighting for.
That was the girl he was fighting for. And she never forgot the thing he did for her because she found him to be a great person. So as she tries to give him the lollipop, he walked away as a kid because he was so humiliated. And she, this time, is handing the lollipop off to him. And at this point in the movie, we're finally going to get to it, Renee. He's going to turn over a new leaf. This is it.
Oh, my God.
Sing. This is your chance. Accept the lollipop. Fall in love. Start a new life. Get over it. You've done it. You have found your meaning in life. And you know what he does? He goes for the lollipop. Right hand first. It's a beautiful moment. I couldn't believe it. And he slaps that shit out of her hand so fucking quick. The lollipop hits the wall, breaks into pieces, looks her in the eye, says, fuck this, walks off.
He runs away with those fucking sodas. And then...
runs away with Bone. Bone's like, he's like, what are you doing, Bone? Get away from me, man.
He get the fuck away from me. So I will kill you if you follow me. You're dragging me down. Don't come at me anymore.
Go be a farmer. Go raise some pigs.
Go raise pigs at home or something.
And Bone, after all this that he told Bone, he tries to walk away. Bone decides, okay, I'll keep walking with him. He's like, what are you doing? Get away from me. Starts
like,
beating
I'm
up.
serious. And he starts hitting him, fucking kicking him and hitting him. And then Bone, he walks away again. Then one last try, he goes up to Singh.
Basically, Singh gives him all the money that he had and told Bone, go make yourself alive.
Yeah.
And then he walks off. And as he walks off, he finds like a corner where he's like really disappointed.
Yeah.
And the Axe King finds him.
Yeah, they pick him up.
And they tell him basically that there is an idea that they had. And the idea was that they have a mission for him.
Yeah. They need him to go pick a lock.
Go pick a lock. And they need to get a guy out of prison, basically. Or an asylum.
Yeah.
You know what I actually thought was really interesting? Is that when they get to this point where you find the prison, those characters they seem American. The people that are at the prison. American. They look very American. Yeah. So I was one of the really interesting point of the film.
They might be American. They might be British. They might be Australian.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
I'm not too sure, but they did.
They seemed American.
They didn't look Chinese. We'll say that.
Yeah,
they didn't look Asian.
Or Asian.
They didn't look Asian.
Yeah, so they find some way to distract him, I guess, because they never are shown again throughout the film. And they find a way to distract him.
No, they didn't find a way. They find out that the guards do rotations, and then that they will not be in the area that Singh needs to go into. So they won't be monitoring that area that door that Singh needs to go into.
So Singh has opened up the door. So basically, if he does his mission, he'll become one part of the Axe Gang. So Singh's definitely going to do it.
Yeah,
that's the reason why Singh wants to do this. So they open up the gate, like the fence, and he asks them, "Hey, are y'all not going to come with me?" They're like, "No, you can go do that yourself.
Yeah.
We're going to stick back here.
We'll be your lookout." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool."
He's like, "I think you'll be fine." And as he looks up, there's a dark, stormy cloud, the darkest moment of his life.
All signs
pure
say,
darkness.
All signs say, "Get the fuck
out of there! Don't do it,
fucking
man.
go in that place."
So he does what everybody would do. He runs away, goes find the girl with the lollipop, and then has a happily ever after.
That didn't
Right,
happen.
her name. Oh, that didn't happen. You're right. I am totally wrong. He goes inside there, runs through this maze of a prison or asylum.
Yeah.
Looks
the map
around.
is confusing as all hell.
The map basically was written as.
Looked like it was written in crayon.
It was like it basically looked like a Dora Explorer map, but no color coding and swiper no swipeys all throughout the map. That's literally what it is.
I'm glad you used that.
This is the best way to confuse you. Okay, so he goes on looking for whoever's in this prison cell or in this asylum, locked away. And as he gets to the bottom, I thought this was really interesting.
Yeah.
When he gets to the bottom, he looks at the door, and as he looks at the door, he sees blood, which is basically like an homage to The Shining.
Yeah.
He sees blood, pools of blood just falling through the front of the cell door, showing pure death. Whatever is behind there is pure darkness and death.
Yeah, don't go in that door.
Don't go in that door. But when he comes back to reality, you realize that on the floor there are still frogs.
Yeah, there's frogs.
Frogs everywhere.
Oof.
Like as if this man
Disgusting.
is living with the amphibians themselves. Yeah, so he sees these frogs and he decides.
He sees his blood and he's like, okay, I should turn back now. Nah, wrong again. He goes straight for that door. He doesn't have any tools because he got mugged while trying to go in there. So all he has is this little bobby pin.
So
he twists this bobby pin and shoves it in the keyhole. Pulls it up, door's open. He pulls that fucking gate of a door and in to find the beast. Who is
himself.
Taking a shit.
Taking a shit, looking at him with his newspaper, confused.
Like, what?
And as we go there, we transition to the beast being taken to the Axe Gang so they can explain to him what his mission is and the reason why they want him to help them. And he explains to them that all they want him to do is fight for them and kill these kung fu masters.
Well, they say, like, this is the guy?
They're pretty...
They say, this is the guy? Are you serious? Because he's wearing slippers that don't even fit his feet.
Yeah, he's wearing women's slippers.
He's wearing women's slippers.
They're quite interesting.
That doesn't fit his feet.
They don't fit his feet. Size 6, but he's a size 15.
And brother's son pulls over to Singh. He's just like, hey, is that the right guy? He's like, I followed the orders correctly. And he's like, go make sure he's the right guy. And he's all like, okay. So he goes up to him, he grabs him by the shirt. He's all, hey, old man, you ever seen a fist this big? And he's just like, and he's just like, okay, hit me. And as he's about to hit him, he pets him on the fucking.
He pokes him on the
forehead and runs away like a little bitch. And he's just like, is he okay? And then he's just like laughing at him. And then this other guy, this real tough Axe Gang member, is just like, he's like laughing at Singh, and this Axe Gang member just hits him in the face.
Full-fledged punches him in the face.
Boom, and he's all like, again, and he hits him one more time. Again, hits him one more time. Breaks his glasses.
This time he has a bloody nose.
And he's just like, you call yourself a gangster when you have punches like that? And he's just like, he looks at brother's son. Brother's son's like, okay. And he pulls out a gun, and the beast takes the gun, and they're like, oh fuck. And he's like, oh, form model. All of them pull the axes and guns at him. And he's just like, oh, okay, we're going to do it this way. And he points the gun to his head. He points it straight to the temple. No one knows what's going on. Nobody in that room knows what's going on. So what he does is he pulls the trigger, and as the bullet is speeding out of the barrel, he straight up catches it, a speeding bullet, with his 2 fingers.
He is officially Superman.
He is the Kung Fu master himself.
Superman. Ba-da-da-da.
Brother Sum sees this and just gives him everything. He says, bow down to the true Kung Fu master. The Axe King bows down. And then...
So he accepts that he will fight these 2 Kung Fu masters. And as he decides that, he just lands the biggest kick I have ever seen through the walls of this casino that they're at.
Yeah.
Completely splitting the walls in half, opening up the doors to the civilians that are inside the casino hall just playing games of sorts. And they all run away, except we find out that the 2 Kung Fu masters were actually in the casino hall. At this point, they were going to infiltrate and eliminate the Axe King, the Axe Gang. Yeah. And he goes up to them, and they have like kind of a conversation,
and he's just like, "Hey, it is an honor to see you two great masters in one spot." And he's just like, "Don't get me wrong, I only want to kill you or be killed by you." And they're like, okay, well, let's do this.
They really don't want to fight him. They just have to because they know that he is working for them. And to get to them, they have to go through him. And they've both decided that. So the first things they both do is they literally throw kicks at him. One throws a punch, one throws a kick. And as this happens, you realize this dude is a beast. The man of steel in Kung Fu Hustle. Takes a punch and a kick, does nothing to him.
Nothing.
So they go for both a double attack, and his speed is extreme. He does triple punches to both of them in the speed of light. They both hit the ground. At this point, I looked at Renee. I was like, "Damn, this guy's fucking unbeatable. This guy's a beast. No wonder they call him the Beast."
Yeah, and these 2, the landlords, are giving everything they got.
Yeah, they really are. They're giving everything they have. They're getting dominated.
They're even using moves that they would not normally use.
Yeah, she uses the lion's roar. It does nothing. He just takes it, looks at her. He's like, "Wow, the lion's roar." Beats the heck out of her. The landlord himself, because the landlady used the lion's roar, the landlord himself tries to use that technique where he would basically deflect the punches. But the thing is that the Beast's speed was so quick that he couldn't really pull it off because his punches were so fast. Yeah. And as Renee explained earlier, Kung Fu, I don't know if he's explained it
in the world of Kung Fu, he does explain it. In the world of Kung Fu, speed defines everything.
Speed defines greatness in the world of Kung Fu.
Yeah.
So he's basically dominating them. And they brought this bell as basically as a surprise, I guess. Maybe it's like a sign of victory is what I thought at the beginning. Yeah. It's like a Liberty Bell. So they're fighting and they're getting dominated. And as they get basically smashed into the area where the bell is, the landlady decides, you know what, I've got to use this bell. And she starts banging on it. At this point, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I wasn't too sure. She's taking a lot of hits. She's getting viciously destroyed. Yeah. Body shot.
Just trying to do what he can and protect her.
He was just trying to protect her.
But the beast's like, get the fuck off me.
And she's just banging on this bell section by section by section, like trying to release something. Yeah. And as that point happens, she hits it hard enough to where the bell's top, she hits it, she slaps it off. The bell's top's completely knocked off, but the bell's base is still there. Yeah. And the landlord has been punched to the bell, and she picks up the bell itself. The landlord holds it up to where she can just kind of have enough area to where she can just scream right into it. Yeah. At this point, you recognize that the Beast had never seen this before. He'd seen many moves. He's taken on many moves, but he had never seen something like this. So she screams, does the lion's roar into the bell, and at this point, the lion's roar was already very powerful, but the bells, because it was condensed, the bells amplified it into one area. Yeah. This lion's roar was so powerful that what did it do, Renee?
It created a fucking hurricane.
Hurricane, tornado. People were flying and dying all around the room.
I saw a cow.
Yeah, I think there was a cow or a tornado.
And like just the accident getting fucked up and destroyed everything.
If there was any, they were just dominated. And at this point, we actually see the beast dominated. He's flown back. He's bloodied.
And they were about to do another lion's roar. And the beast's like, "Ooh, I admit defeat." And they're like, "Oh, okay, cool." So they put down the bell. And as they put it down, the beast shoves a knife into their face. And they dodge. And then as the knife comes out, it's not really a knife. It's like this, like...
It's like little spears.
It's spears, like handheld dagger spears.
Yeah, little daggers.
And as he comes out, and then a needle shoots out. They grab it with their teeth. And then he pulls back. And they shoves it in their sides. And boom, they fall to the
As they do that, they basically know that they can't really win this fight. All they can do is hold him down. So they basically, one of them puts him in an arm bar. The other one puts him in the the figure four leg lock, like they're Ric Flair, trying to hold him down. And they're trying their best to hold him down at least enough to stop him. But they can't win this battle.
Yeah.
As this is happening, the Axe Gang has recognized...
coming out of the rubble.
They've got to take him down. Brother Sun decides to send one of his lackeys, who's really useless, to go hit one of them, and he's too much of a punk to do it.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I'm sick," and he pushes him, and then he gives a fucking
Singh.
He gives this big ass, like, I don't even know.
It's like a wooden
pillar to Singh, and he's just like, "Here, hit him on the head." And he's like, "Beat the shit out of him." Hit him on the head. He's like, "Okay, I got it." Beat the shit out of him. And he's like, "Hit him on the head. Come on, what are you waiting for? Do it. And then Singh just like doesn't take. He just
looks back. He's like, "Do you want me to hit him on the head or beat the shit out of him?"
No, he hits him on the head, and he's just like, "Why did you do that?" He's like, "I'm confused. Do you want me to hit him on the head or beat the shit out of him?"
Be clear, man.
And then he hits him one more time, and then he fucking...
Brother Such is bleeding out of the top of his head.
And he just falls back, and he's just like, "Fuck!" and starts screaming. And then what Singh does is the ultimate fucking... I don't even know, still don't know why he did this. But he got that pillar, and he lunged for it, and he hit the beast on his head.
Yeah.
And that fucking made him mad. And the beast breaks those locks, and he gets up, and he's just like... He gets his fist, he's like, "Wow, that's a big fist. You should be careful with that." And then he fucking hits him up in the air. Or what does he do? He hits him. He hits him up in the air, and then he fucking like Sasuke kicks him down into the fucking ground. He basically did
like the lotus kick from Sasuke.
Yeah.
Downward kick into the ground with his chest forward.
And he just fucks up Singh.
Like the flying lotus, Rock Lee's flying lotus, basically.
And then he just like... The beast looks at him and is like, "Why did you hit me on the head?"
He punches...
he grabs the stick and he hits him again on the head.
But he punches his head through the ground.
That guy...
Horrifically. But then doesn't do it once. He does like 3 times. Boom, 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 boom. Head is getting digged into the ground. Yeah. Like, you don't see his head anymore. His head is in the ground. His body's on top. So his neck is broken. He's dead. This is it. Wow, Singh, good job, man. Could have just went for the lollipop. You probably should. So as this happens, the beast gets up, and as he gets up, he looks around, and he notices the two lovers. That's what they're called, basically, like the lovers, masters. They've escaped, but they've also took Singh with them, and the beast is furious about this.
Yeah.
So he tells Brother Sun. Brother Sun goes up to say, "You let them escape! You let them escape!" And as he does that, he slaps Brother Sun so hard that his neck goes around in circles and breaks. Instantly dead.
Yeah.
Completely dead. He's basically the new leader of the Axe Gang.
Mm-hmm.
So as he takes in the leadership, he demands them all to go find what's it called, Singh and the two landlord and landlady.
Yeah. So what happens is that the landlord and landlady do the best they can to patch up Singh, and they put him in this full cocoon of like...
They're really emotionally bonded to him, I guess, because they find him as their son, or he would have been their son's age.
He had saved them both, and he's just like, "Why did he do that?" He
didn't have to do that.
He's like, "Yeah, he didn't have to do that." He's like, "Well, young people do stupid things," and he's just like, "You know what's strange? He's healing at an incredibly fast rate." And he's just like, it doesn't make sense unless he's and then it cuts to like actually the Beast and the gang arriving to or actually, I'm sorry, I'm fucking this up. It actually shows Singh trying to break out the cocoon and him trying to like crawl his way out of the cocoon, and then it cuts to the Beast and the
actually it doesn't yet. It cuts to basically it transitions to a butterfly breaking out of its cocoon.
Oh yeah, it does, dude. So it transitions to a butterfly breaking out of cocoon, and then a beautiful butterfly spreads its wings
and flies.
And then actually what happens?
Well, they do explain themselves that I don't think at this point. No, it's not this point.
So what happens is that the Beast and the Axe Gang come out of nowhere, and it turns out, and then as like they come up, they see the Beast actually sees the butterfly floating away, and they're just like, "This is weird. Something's not right." And they actually go into the town and they start searching around, and he's just like.
So as they walk, the
entire gang
they look for him, and they're starting to check like basically the whole village to see where he's at.
And it turns out that the Beast has actually found that the place that they're at, which was his cocoon. He looks at his cocoon. He's like, "What the fuck is?"
Yeah, they find the cocoon, and then he starts looking for him. And as we go to looking for him, you find the two older the landlord and the landlady are now being arrested, and Singh has decided to take care of them himself.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting, like, why? And they say it to themselves. They say, who would have thought that it would take the Beast to knock him in the head a amount of times to allow him...
His chakra flow.
To allow... basically allow his true potential.
I'm sorry. I think his chi flow to be unlocked.
He's basically his true potential.
This isn't Naruto.
Yeah, I was like, chakra, what are you doing?
So
yeah, he's basically dressed up in like this kind of like this traditional wardrobe for like kung fu masters.
This is just straight up Bruce Lee.
It's Bruce Lee's kung fu master type of
Bruce Lee. He is dressed exactly like Bruce Lee.
I'm guessing it's not just Bruce Lee. It's probably something else, but I'm not too sure what it's called.
And then it turns out that he is that, and he's opening the door.
And then you see the whole Axe Gang look at him.
Go into that door, and that what we think is he's going to open up to. And as the door fully opens up, the Beast walks out, and he's picking his nose, and he's just like, this doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. And then off in the distance, we can see Singh fully cleaned up and fully dressed up.
It's like as if he's completely brand new.
He is completely...
He shaved everything.
He's a washed man, and he comes out, and the entire X gang just rushes for him. They rush for him, and one of them tries to lunge at him, and Singh dodges the axe smoothly. And then they try for another attack. He backs up, and they dodge the attack, and he ends up fighting them. He hits him with the shoulder. They go back, and then
he's truly really powerful. He's really using powerful. Shoulder attacks. He's not using anything. Backhand fist, they fly.
Yeah,
he's using just small palm attacks. They fly. It was getting so crazy. He was beating the hell out of all of them without trying. He was playing with them. He was doing like kindergarten attacks where he would just smash all their feet in.
Yeah.
Smashing them into the ground. Their feet were destroyed, flattening their feet.
And then it turns out that he really started fucking them up.
It was so cool. He knocks one guy in the air, kicks him while he's midair. The guy flies. They start trying to fight him on the ground. He grabs one guy, throws or punches him hard enough to where he flies into the second story, busting the window. Punches two guys, they fly through the windows. Throws three guys into the window, starts kicking guys up in the air. It's the craziest shit. Look.
And the Beast is just looking at it all like...
If there's anything I can say before we get to the ending of this movie is an amazing kung fu experience that if you have ever seen a kung fu movie, you must see this. You just must. The ridiculousness in this movie is so engaging and incredible. You've got to take the chance. This scene right here, phenomenal. So continue, Renee.
The Beast is looking at all of them, and is just like, oh my, is just looking at them, doing these attacks, and it turns out that Singh is actually making his way, fighting through this army of like X Gang people or X Gang members and just fighting through this army just to face the beast. And he's just, as he gets to the final stretch, he just starts fucking everybody up. And a one pathway on top of like the second story, on top of like the balcony, just straight up hitting him, pushing him through fucking walls, pushing him through the ceiling, just destroying them. And as he gets to the beast, you can see like a trail of like broken Axe Gang members like bodies.
Yeah,
just like limping. And the beast,
they're like stuck in the walls or in the ceiling. They're everywhere. They're all destroyed basically.
Yeah, and he gets to the beast, and the beast is just like, is that it? And then as he says that sentence, Singh takes no chances. He hits him, and he straight up hits him off the balcony, and he hits him again, and then he kicks him down. And then as he's kicking him down, he has his foot on his head, and then they start going into hand to hand. And as they're figuring out that the beast is figuring out that Singh can keep up with his punches, and that he's actually matched with the beast. And
yeah, you could tell that the beast is very surprised by
and not only matched, but probably better than and faster than the beast.
Yeah, the beast can tell that he's being outsped, too much speed, too much strength. He's just basically in a regular hand-to-hand combat. He has no chance.
Yeah, and we find out that the beast is not going to take it anymore. He is pissed off that he can't land a blow or he can't dodge any of his attacks. So after he gets his foot smashed in, the beast takes upon himself to do his move that nobody saw coming.
Yeah, I was wondering. It really makes sense. He takes like a weird, strange frog stance.
Yeah.
And as he takes his frog stance, you notice that he's kind of bent back, and then crouches, and he extends his throat like a frog. It's really weird and he's creepy.
Like, ooh, and a frog like noise comes out. It's like a ribbit, and
it's like ribbit. It is a ribbit.
Yeah. I'm sorry. But what he does is he just lunges towards Singh, and he just bodies him.
He like basically spears him through the walls.
Through walls, and just completely powerhouses him into a wall. And we find out that this is a hidden secret that the beast has been hiding all along. And the beast just completely goes like bananas. And he's just like, okay, I'm going to use this against Singh. And he starts using it. And Singh is hopelessly just dodging these attacks. And the beast is throwing himself from building to building. He is getting caught in the dark. Singh is up on the power lines or the laundry lines, and is just like taking it. And then after he does it, he kicks 2 rocks into that dark hole that the beast had just entered in, and 2 of them nothing. And then he's still on the power lines, and he looks down, and the beast is right there underneath him. And he lunges to him. He does that gross frog technique, and he hits him in the chest, and he flies up in the air. And that looks like it's it. That looks like it's it for Singh, because it was a Team Rocket smash up into the fucking air. And and the beast knows that he won. At that moment, the beast knows that he won. But Singh, he had one last move he had to conquer.
He found what we've all been waiting for.
As he was up,
he found
peak.
At
the peak of the sky.
You see him. You see they're basically like an eagle or like a hawk, and he jumps on top of it. He basically bounces off of it slightly. You notice like a Nacho Libre moment. The eagle powers have been found at this moment itself.
In this part, we can see like a Buddhist statue in the clouds, and it's giving
him the ability of the palm.
And he knows what he knows to do, so he fucking just spears himself
in the sky like a meteor.
All the way.
You can see him in flames. He's gaining so much momentum.
His body just starts destroyed into
And
flames.
at this point as well, you see the beast is on the ground, but he's now his fingers, his legs, his feet, they've all been engraved into the ground. He's stuck now. He can't move.
From the impact that
he's trying to use the frog technique, but he's lost all ability to move. He can no longer move. So he tries to look up, and as he sees Singh coming to the ground, he's in flames, and his clothing is being completely burnt off.
And he sticks out his palm, and as he's sticking out his palm, an indent, a giant handprint in the middle of pigsties. In the middle of pigsties, my mind went completely blank. In the middle of pigsty, a giant handprint onto the beast as imprinted on him, and the beast says, "I surrender, I surrender." And Singh backs off. He does a backflip, and he lets it go.
But at this point, the beast is not done yet, as we've seen before. He does not care, so he just goes and tries to use one of those little daggers.
Yeah.
And he goes for the kill. At this point, Singh looks at him, extends the palm, releases some sort of palm attack again, completely crushing the building. Looks like it goes through the beast, but we find out that actually Singh moved it to the left just to show him what he really could have done.
Yeah, and the beast is actually petrified.
He's recognized that he really has no chance.
Yeah.
So he looks at him and he asks him, "How did you do that?" And Singh looks at him and tells him, "I can teach you." And at that point,
the beast just breaks down.
The beast recognizes, as he looks at him, and you can see the darkness between him and the light, he is the chosen one himself. And as he now knows that he's the chosen one, the beast goes to the ground, grovels, and gets on his knees and yells, "Master." As we see that he has now become the master, we see that the spear that he had that was a flower, Singh throws it up in the air, and it goes into the sky to basically explaining of the transitions from this violence to the purity of life. And as that it goes through, we go to basically a lollipop shop that's opened up, right, Renee?
Well, it transitions into the mute, or the lollipop girl, the girl that, and she was trying to she's walking through she's walking through,
her name's Fong.
She's walking through, is that her real name?
Yeah, her name's Fong.
Fong is walking through I guess the busy street with her ice cream cart, and she sees like these kids with giant lollipops. And she
looks up and she sees the shop, the lollipop shop.
Yeah. I forgot this, but it actually transfers into the flower passing by her, and she's looking up in the sky. She sees the flower floating down onto the street, and then she starts seeing all the kids walking around with lollipops, and she goes and walks a little bit further, and she's seeing more kids with lollipops.
And she sees inside of there that there's Bone giving out people lollipops.
She goes to the lollipop shop, and she looks inside, and then she sees Bone fucking telling these kids, like, "Oh, don't put snot on the glass. Hey, get off of him. Don't be biting him." And then Bone looks at her, and as Bone looks at her, he looks to his right, and Singh pops out of nowhere. And then these two meet.
Their eyes meet in the glorious moment where this is all led up to.
Yep.
This movie, at this exact point, we recognize that it was a lollipop advertisement.
I'm kidding. So what happens is that these two meet, and we see this beautiful scene where it starts 360, and Singh holds out his hands, and as he holds out his hands, we can see him transition into his younger self. And Fong holds out her, and she transitions into her younger self, into their child self, who they were before. And Singh takes her hand, and they go into the lollipop shop,
symbolizing the purity in their relationship to finding life within each other. It's really sweet if you think about it.
And then it transitions to that fucking hobo.
That hobo's back. Wow, what a kung fu genius, right?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
apparently he's still trying to do his whole shindig where he's trying to sell fucking 20 cents.
For what it looks like,
manuals.
apparently he was just selling manuals that he gets for 20 cents and resells them for like overpriced to these kids.
Yeah.
And he meets some snot-nosed kid whose boogers are in front of his face, licking a lollipop. He says, "Hey kid, you want this? You want this? A lollipop manual? I'll give it to you for $10.
You want this Buddhist palm manual?" And the kid's like, "Oh, fuck off."
No, fuck off. So
and then he's like, "Wait, you want more?" And then he holds up like 5 different like manual books, kung fu manual books, and one of them was actually like a sword. And God. But anyways, this is the end of the movie. It cuts off there. That's all we got.
That is Kung Fu Hustle.
And I want to say this right now. If Stephen Chow hears this, I need a fucking part 2 to this bitch. I need to know what happens.
It's perfectly ended.
Hey, Sean.
It's perfectly
ended. I need a part 2.
There's no loose ends.
I need a... Yes, there is. There's 5 different manuals. I need to see what happens with those 5 different manuals. I need to see that. No, but for real. It's a perfect movie.
So let me ask you this, Renee. Since we've gotten to the end of this, what did you come out of it thinking?
What did I come out of it? It's a masterpiece. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no...
well, you liked it for sure.
No... Fuck yeah, I love this. I love the fuck out of this movie. Are you kidding me?
I liked it a lot.
I fell in love with it when I first saw it, and I saw it in English.
It's actually a really awesome movie.
It's like... the way we explain the fight scenes, the way the narrative works out in the fight scenes, how they're all coming together to fight for the common goal and to fight for a bigger goal and defending themselves is beautiful, and that's told in every single fight. And that it may on the surface look like they're just fighting, but they're actually fighting for something, and they're not just fighting for themselves. They really are fighting for something, and it turns out that the goal that they're chasing is really something beautiful, and that is technically peace. But
so that's your final look at it?
I guess that's my final outlook. What about you?
It's really interesting. It's kind of a lot when you think about it. There's pure meaning behind it. There's basically, we've got characters who, life takes you in different directions, and it's kind of putting them in spots and places where things don't work out for either of them. They kind of live life a certain way, and it looks like these 2 individuals, which is Singh and Fong, their destinies were intertwined in a way that the only way to truly be happy was to find each other. And throughout the film, it just shows that Singh needed that kind of motivation to become the person he needed to be, but he couldn't be that person until he found himself for her. So it's a really cool, I think a really cool ideology behind that kind of relationship to their kind of backstory. Plus, this makes it awesome that the fight scenes were super badass.
Yeah, they were fucking amazing.
So yeah, I think it's really cool. It's a not very complex. It's more simplistic, but you've got a common idea of what's going on, and it's really easy to understand. So to be honest, I think it's awesome. I think it's something that is sadly not in the world of movies anymore. We don't get those kind of action sequences anymore, and maybe never going to happen again. I don't know why Kung Fu has gone away from Hollywood. I don't know why they've decided not to embrace that kind of side of Hollywood, but I truly do miss it. I'll be sure with that.
Yeah.
I think this movie has a lot to give, and I think that this is definitely missing nowadays. And it's really unfortunate that instead of getting a bunch of sequels of movies that are, quite frankly, their fight scenes can't really compare.
Oh yeah.
We still have something like this that is very old and still hold up. It looks like about a decade later. So if I can say any final words on it, I think it's a fantastic movie, and it's going to be a great, I think it's a masterpiece in its own sense that should be hold dear to a lot of people for years to come. So yeah, this has been Kung Fu Hustle. We hope you've all enjoyed. If you guys can, please give us a like on our page if you haven't yet. And if not, give us a subscribe on our channel on YouTube, or maybe give us a subscribe on podcast or Spotify. We truly like that, and hope you enjoyed this episode. Right, Renee?
Yes.
All right. So Kung Fu Hustle. Hope to hear from you guys again soon. By the way, special coming up this next week. So check it out.